Hey, what up guys, welcome to a new video, and today we're covering the mid-season 13.10 patch notes. Yes, there's a lot of changes that come to the Rift, and I think it's gonna be a great time in general. So we're gonna be mainly focusing on how all of these changes gonna affect mid lane, but I'll also touch on all of the big lines outside of just the mid lane stuff, because I also think that it's gonna be going to be a lot of game-breaking changes to the game. I also think it's good that we discuss that because it also affects mid lane in a way. So let's take a look at the buffs that we're going to start with. So Akshan, Kalista, Kindred, and Vayne are going to get AP ratios. So why do these champions get AP ratios? They get AP ratios because some of the new mythics are also going to be scaling with AP. So these champions now get way more options to build. That's definitely going to be a buff in a way. How exactly is it going to be a buff? It's probably going to give them more options in build path, going to be a bit more DPS-y in the way they approach the game. It's very hard to say what it exactly is going to change, but it's definitely going to change some stuff. But I'm pretty sure that if something is too OP, they'll cut it down really quickly. So I wouldn't worry too much about these changes, because these changes are a bit out of the box in my opinion. And I'd rather want to look at the items, what is exactly going to change in these items. Because that makes you also understand what's going to happen to these champions. So let's take a look at these items first here. So AD carry items are going to get changed. There's some changes to crit and to mythic items. The mythic items are going to be shifted around a bit for the AD carries. First of all, Immortal Shield Bow becomes a legendary, and therefore Bloodthirster becomes a bit different. Instead of giving you the overheal, that gets removed right now, and you now get more attack damage, 10 to 40, while above 50% health. Well, there's some champions that really abuse this. Aphelios, Draven. It's going to be these champions that when they're ahead, they're going to be really, really hard to kill, but now they're going to get even more AD, and therefore they're going to get extremely, extremely strong. I think this is actually a very good change, because I cannot say how much I hated the shield from the Bloodthirster, but I think this change is way more balanced in a way that it gives the AD carry more damage, so more what they want, but also more counterplay because the shield is gone. So I really like where they're going with this. Gale Force, they're gonna let's actually read this. So they're gonna reduce a bit of damage, reduce a bit of the attack speed, and give it active or like standard move speed in the item itself. And it's now gonna give every legendary item 5 AD. Practically stays the same. This as well. Now Ginsu's, big one right here, really big change. So Ginsu's is actually going back to what it used to be in a way. It's going to give AP and AD once again. So it's going to be way more expensive. It's going to be very similar to all of these other mythics. I'm pretty sure maybe Gilforce 3,400. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit cheaper than the Gale Force right here. But what it's going to do is give 30 AP, 30 AD, 25 attack speed, and now attacks applied 30 magic damage on hit. And your critical strikes chance still gets converted to more on-hit damage. But right now, stacking up to 4 times, you're going to be granted attack speed, and every third attack applies on-hit effects twice. Very big. And then you're also going to get magic and armor penetration from the mythic passive. This is insane, by the way. This is really, really, really big. So this is going to be an insane item for champions like Kokma, Vayne, probably Akshan as well with his new changes, Kindred probably as well with his new AP changes, right? This is really where they're pushing it. They're giving these on-hit champions this mixed AP AD stuff, and that's actually gonna make them into another different kind of level of threat. Like, these champions are gonna snowball so extremely hard right now. I think that's gonna be the main change. Like when, for example, Akshan or Kindred or Vayne now gets to get ahead and gets to snowball, it's going to be really, really hard to itemize against them, because usually against Akshan, armor worked really well. If Akshan plays against Malphite, he cannot play the game, right? This is gonna help his situation a bit more. Let's actually take a look at. I don't think this one's not changing anything. Shield bow got changed, way cheaper right now. Now is also a legendary item. It gives no attack speed anymore, but the shield stays the same. But I think it's a bit weaker, so it's not that strong anymore. So it's slightly weaker shield, but it still does the same basically. And it gains attack speed when triggered instead of AD right now. So it's just a nice change for shield bow. It's not gonna be as strong, but it's not gonna be as expensive. So I think this item just generally stays the same, but it's not a mythic item anymore. Now Infinity Edge is a mythic, and it actually is exactly the same. It's the same amount of gold, but now you get the mythic passive of empowering each of your items, legendary items, with 5 AD. Pretty whatever in my opinion. I'm not sure how this is going to change. I'm going to be leaning towards Ginsu's being the strongest mythic because of what it actually gives you as mythic passive as well, and how it interacts with these new champions. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to roll out. But Infinity Edge definitely still does the same stuff. Let's actually take a look. So we also got static shift back. So this is probably where this is going to be playing into. Pretty whatever. This doesn't really matter. I don't want to go too deep into this. Kraken Slayer now also becomes a legendary item. What do we see? It's cheaper. It gives less AD, more attack speed, and it now deals bonus magic damage instead of bonus true damage. Actually, that's what it's looking like. And it also increases subsequent triggers, increases this damage by 50% up to 100%. So that's crazy. So what we're going to be seeing a lot is we're going to be seeing a lot of Ginsu's Kraken Slayer duo combinations, because these two items synergize like nothing before. Like, unbelievable how good that this two synergize. It gives attack speed, that gives attack speed. It deals magic damage plus physical damage. It does the on hit. Like, holy shit, I'm going to see some crazy stuff happening on the Rift. Like, this is a very deadly combination of items, the Kraken with Ginsu. So look out for this on champions like Kokmal, Vayne, etc. Mercurial Scimitar, 50 more MR, fine. Mortal Reminder, 5 more AD, fine. Doesn't really change. Now let's take a look at Navori's Quick Blades. Also becomes a mythic tier item right now. Cost is similar. Recipe is similar. Attack damage is similar. Critical strike is similar. I think everything is going to be similar here. And now gives 5 ability haste for each legendary item. What I can already see, right, is that the mythic passive comparison of Quick Blades and Gale Force Infinity Edge don't even come close to what Ginsu's give. That's the main thing that I'm seeing, and otherwise these items just stay the same. Okay, and Noon Quiver isn't only for mythic items anymore. Or maybe not a mythic at all, actually. Okay. So Phantom Dancer is a bit more expensive. Gives a bit more attack speed. Okay. It's actually nerve in my opinion. 200 gold for 5 attack speed. I don't really like that too much, actually. No, I don't like that. So Rage Knife is going to be the previous item for Ginsu's. It's pretty similar. Pretty good item. Pretty good item, actually. Pretty good item for these champions as well. You can sit on this and already do some stuff. Rapid Fire Cannon. Let's take a look at this one. So it's more expensive. It gives now 30 AD, less attack speed. Move speed is similar. And our energized attacks deal about the same amount of damage. A bit less early, a bit more late. Like, item is basically the same, but it now gives a bit more AD. Not too special. This becomes from physical to magic damage on hit, but it's way cheaper. I think it's better right now. But yeah, I think wow, this static shift looks so cool. What the hell? Okay, let's take a look at Runance. So Runance is more expensive, less attack speed, attacks apply 30 magic damage on hit. All right, and okay. Wow, and it deals more damage based on bonus AD. So let's take a look. So this is unique passive pack, right? Let's take a look at this unique passive. Unique passive ref. Applied 30 magic. So I'm curious if this stacks or not. Like, if this gives 30 magic damage and Runans gives 30 magic damage on it. Because then we're going to see Ginsu's, Runans, and Kraken. And we're going to be seeing a lot of on-hit stuff going on. Like, the stuff that's going to happen. Man. If those 3 items are going to be able to build together, that's... Ooh. That's going to be crazy. Let's take a look at Static Shift. I love the icon. It's so cool. So... yeah, I think it's still going to be the wave clear item for these crit champions. So champions like Vayne are going to have a bit of an easier time clearing these waves with item like this. It now gives for 3,000 gold, which builds out of Noon Quiver as well, which is a pretty good item for these champions. 45 AD, 25 attack speed, 20% crit, all the standard stuff, new to high stats, and the energized attacks that deal plus AP bonus damage and deals bonus damage to minions. So interesting that this is also plus AP. So we're seeing a lot of these AP scalings on these AD items. So very interesting stuff here. I'm really curious what this item is going to do. I think for champions like Vayne, it's going to be massive. Massive. Let's take a look at Stormlazer. Stormlazer becomes more expensive, more AD, and grants move speed instead of slowing the enemies. So that means that it's going to be more of a buff to ourselves rather than a negative effect towards the enemies. Fine change. I don't think it changes too much. Let's take a look at the assassin items. Collector gets 6 more attack speed. Nice change. I don't think the item is too good. I don't think it changes much, but you know, I think it's a good change in the right direction. Let's take a look at Zeal. So Zeal's gonna get a massive nerf. Zeal was super gold efficient. He gave a lot of move speed, attack speed for and crit for very low amount of gold. So what they're doing is they're nerfing it a bit. Okay, sure. I think it's a fine nerf. It was too gold efficient. Let's take a look at the items for assassins. So I heard from various sources that Dustblade was shit. Let's take a look at it. I'm not sure. The passive is gone. What does it do right now? Your spells deal up to 15% bonus damage based on the target's missing health. Okay, that's pretty interesting. When a champion you have damaged within the past 3 seconds died, you become invisible. You become untargetable by non-structures. This effect does not and breaks upon taking any action that you normally exist. So it's basically similar, but instead of being invisible, you become invulnerable or something like that. I like this Night Stalker passive. I have to see how this is going to work out. I cannot really see. I need to like see gameplay of it. I'm not sure how this is exactly going to affect. Let's take a look at Prowess. So Prowess becomes legendary instead of mythic. Becomes a bit cheaper, bit less AD, bit less ability haste, bit less lethality, no more dash. But now, after dashing, blinking, or exiting stealth, your next attack onto an enemy champion deals bonus damage. And if the owner is melee, the attack also slows. I mean, I guess... if it has 10 seconds cooldown, I'm pretty sure it's shit. Because then even champions like Kha'Zix or Kiana cannot really abuse it and buy it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. If that's a cooldown, I'm pretty sure it's shit. But who knows? We'll see. Yumi's Ghostblade now becomes mythic. So now we're talking, right? Bit more expensive, bit more AD, bit more ability haste, bit more move speed on the active. So it's looking good for this 100 gold already. So this passive has been removed for the 40 out of combat move speed. And let's see what we get for it. Moving generates spectral shards. For each shard, for each stack, gain maximum of 40 move speed. And at maximum stacks, gain lethality. And these stacks reset 3 seconds after dealing damage to an enemy champion while at maximum stacks. Looks really good, actually. I'm very curious. Like, for junglers especially, this is going to be very, very, very good. Like, I really like this. Also with the increased lethality on that attack. I think it's really cool. Really cool. I'm curious how this is going to work out for these assassins. I really like where this is going. Now, there's also going to be a lot of support item changes. And this is also going to be affecting mid lane massively. So Abyssal Mask, we see it a lot on Nautilus mid nowadays. Actually, super stupid item, in my opinion. I really dislike what it's able to do in the mid lane. Because as a mage, it's just so hard to battle against this stuff. So let's take a look at what it changed. It's now... Let me take a sip of water here. It's now 600 gold cheaper. And it now doesn't build out of Catalyst anymore, which is pretty big for a lane. It drops a bit of an HP. It gains more magic resist. And this is unchanged. So I actually think this item is way better right now. I actually think this item is way better right now. Because you get more MR, you lose some health, but it's way cheaper. Eternity passive is honestly super whatever for a lot of champions. So I actually think that this change is interesting. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, especially for mid lane. Like when you're maybe playing some bruisers in mid lane, this seems like a very good item to build into mages. Ardent Sensor, really fucking cheap right now. Gives less AP, less base mana regen, more move speed, which is always nice for these champions. And it seems that the buff is slightly better. Okay, so the buff is slightly better. So it's cheaper, gives less AP, less mana regen. This kind of doesn't matter, right? Like the AP and mana regen kind of doesn't matter. So I think the item is better overall for supports. It's cheaper and it actually does more what we want to do. Jealous of Blessing. It's part of these items. That's whatever. I'm not going to go into that. So Chemtech Putrifier, cheaper 200 gold, less AP, less mana regen, more heal and shield power. Overall, looks very solid to me. Looks like a buff to me. Once again, support are gonna be really buff. Like what's gonna happen on bot lane here is holy shit. Like every change is directed onto making on-hit champions better. So the meta is like, it's gonna be something else. It's gonna be absolutely something else. Like we're gonna see the craziest stuff in game. We're gonna see Lulu Kokma. We're gonna see Lulu Kokma, guys. Lulu Vayne. All of that stuff. Like Lulu is gonna be is smiling. I might need to start permabanning this champion starting tomorrow. Actually, Echoes of Helia. Pretty sure this is a new item. I'm pretty sure this is a mythic now. Yeah, it's a mythic. Okay, so 2,300 gold. Okay, that's pretty cheap in my opinion. 30 AP, 200 health, 15 ability haste, lot of base mana regen. Lot of base mana regen. Consumes all short and restores. Okay, dealing damage to an enemy champion grants a soul shard. Healing or shielding an ally consumes all soul shards and restores. Okay, so healing or shielding an ally consumes all soul shards and restores 20 to 100 based on ally's level health. Okay, and deals 30 to 200 magic damage per shard. Per shard. Really? Oh, up to 2 max. Okay. Okay, so you can just stack up to. Okay. I was like, holy shit, we can like stack 10 shards and then do this. That's crazy. Okay. But 2, that's so easy to get though. Gain 3 ability power per 25 base mana regen. So from this one you already get 15. Okay. But that does... I'm pretty sure this is the component of this. Health. Okay. How good is this on Karma? Like, how broken is this on Karma, actually? What the hell? Like, this is so broken. It also gives ability haste. Like, this is so broken. It gives health, it gives ability power, ability haste, mana regen, crazy passive, more AP. Like, wow. Really interesting. And it's, like, so cheap. It's so cheap. Let's actually take a look at this. Cry of the Shrieking City. Oh, that's the upgraded version. Even Shroud. Okay, so Even Shroud is now cheaper. Bit of different build path, whatever. Similar. Okay. What did they do? This is also unchanged. Did they just... Oh, they just made it cheaper. That's it. That's it. Okay, Even Shroud's still gonna be good. Still gonna be a good item. Imperial Mandate now becomes a legendary item. So let's take a look here. It's also cheaper. More AP, a lot more AP. Similar ability is similar mana regen. Okay, so abilities that slow or immobilize a champion deal less damage, bonus damage, and marks them for 4 seconds. And that deals also less. So it's just a bit worse. Like it gives more AP, but it's a bit worse when it comes to the damage. I think it's still going to be built in the same situations. Again, not that much. I think it gets outshined by this stuff already. Knight's Vow, reduced in gold, gives them more armor, like 20 armor, less health, less ability haste, less health regen, unchanged, and okay, I guess it does more now. I'm not sure. I don't understand pre-mitigation, post-mitigation. Like, this was changed for post-mitigation. Yeah, so I think you just block more HP for your team now, for your member. I think it's just a better item in general right now. Let's take a look at this one. Like, there's gonna be some crazy hyper carry Kog'Maw comps running around. Like, I'm not gonna... I think that stuff is already unbeatable. You go support, Lulu, Karma mid, pitch jungle, Sejuani, or something like that. You just build Knight's Vow on Sejuani. You go Ardent, and you go Helia item on Karma. And Lulu also goes stuff like that. And you just buff up Kog'Maw. You cannot lose. Like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be so crazy. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, there's a component. pretty nice component. These components are going to be really, really, really nice for these champions. Locket of the Iron Solari. Less gold. Everything is unchanged. I'm pretty sure everything is unchanged. But now the shield is a bit bigger and cheaper. So like support and AD carries are going to get such a massive buff. So Michael's Blessing gets more health. Still very cheap. No MR anymore. Interesting change. Still a lot of mana regen. A lot of heal and shield power still. That 1% doesn't change anything. And the passive is still... It doesn't remove suppressions, I see. And it restores a bit more HP. So it's just similar. It's just very similar. What does... what does this change? So it seems like Moonstone is also still mythic. So Echoes of Helia and Moonstone look, and the old Moonstone look very similar. So what is changed with this new Moonstone here? It's cheaper, less AP. Healing or shielding ally changed to the nearest ally champion. Healing for... Okay, healing or shielding for a bit of that original amount. Wow, that's a crazy change actually. Holy... Oh. Oh my god. So how does this work with a champion like Sona or like Seraphine who already heals multiple people? Does that like double chain or something like that? I'm curious. I cannot say. Alright, that's fine. Radiant Virtue becomes... Okay, for a greedy support item. So it's 500 gold cheaper, 50 less health, armor, magic resist the same, 10 less ability haste. Just 10, by 12.5%. Okay, I still think it does the same thing. Strange. Very strange. It just does the same thing. Okay. It's just way cheaper right now. Scary cheap. Scary cheap. Redemption. Same gold. More health. Heal the shield power is whatever. This also like super whatever. And this seems to be healing more. It just seems to be a slight buff to redemption, I guess. Shurelias. Cheaper. And a bit less AP, but that's whatever. Unchanged. So let's see what this healing, shielding, or buffing allies grants them. Plus 25 for 1.5. To plus 20% bonus move speed. So it's slightly nerfed. So it's slightly nerfed, but it's cheaper, so it's alright. It's still alright. Staff of Flowing Water. Less AP, less gold, less mana regen. Shield and heal power is similar. 5 move speed big. And this becomes healing or shielding against you both AP and 20 ability. So actually I kind of like this this change here for Staff Flowing Water. I think it's a good good change here. Okay. %. Holy. I don't know what this does. I'm gonna be honest, like what does it exactly do? I've got no clue. Let's take a look at Zeke's here. So 200 gold down. I think it's gonna be still similar to before, by the way. I don't think this changes too much. Less health, more armor, less ability haste. Still similar. And now on hit and ability hits Okay, that's a lot. After you mobilize an enemy, you're... I like it. Pretty good change as well. Very good change. Divine Sunderer. Okay, I like this change. I think it's fine. Winter. I like this. Very, very good change for Winter. Force of Nature. More health, less magic resist. Bit cheaper, but it's whatever. Absorb maximum stacks. What does it stack then? Okay. Alright. Now grants 30 bonus magic resist instead of the multiplicative magic damage reduction. So this item was one of the most frustrating things to deal with as a mage player, or like as an AP player in general, because this passive was so broken, right? If you get that, you actually heal them. Like it was so unbelievably broken. I hated it, and I think this is better than what it is before. So I'm happy what they're doing here. Gore Drinker, slight buff, less gold, better passive. Hullbreaker. It's more AD and plus 5% bonus move speed. That's really good. That's really good. Physical and magic damage. Alright, I see where this is going. LDR is going to be also a very good item on Akshan and stuff. Like, they're gonna be do so much true damage and stuff. Like, it's crazy. I can't believe what I'm gonna witness the next couple patches. All my champions are just borderline useless. Maybe I need to play Akshan and Karma again, man. I don't know. Fuck me. Okay. So mages, this is big. Lost Chapter, I wanna break this down here. Like, Lost Chapter it's big. It's really big. So what does this do? Right. Lost Chapter is going to be 200 gold cheaper, while actually providing the same stats. So usually you got 1300 gold around your end of level 5 to level 6 mark. That was a bit later than, or around minute 5. Minute 5 to 6 is usually when you got this, right? And that was then when the first dragon spawns. So what do we see right now is this becomes actually 1100 gold, right? And when this becomes 1100 gold, that means that we get it before minute 5. Very, very crucial, because at minute 5 the dragon spawns. So this also lines it up with the serrated dirt power spike of 1100 gold. So if we're playing against assassins right now, we can match it with Lost Chapter. So I really, really, really like this change, and I actually think that it's gonna make the power curve of mid laners feel a bit more in line with how the game is actually allowing you to play. So I think it's going to free up a few mid laners, and I really like this change. So how does this affect the Sapphire Crystal, the 350 strategy plus refill, right? We've seen it today as well in the BLG versus G2 game. Cap started Mana Crystal plus refill with First Strike and Futures Market into an Ahri as Syndra, and she got Lost Chapter at like minute 4, but she got like an assist as well. So that's really, really early. How is that going to affect this? I think futures around this point you get like 100. I don't know. I never use this rune. I think it's like 120 to 150 free gold. So we probably need about 5 waves to consistently get this, and yeah, that would make it definitely before minute 5. So it's definitely good change. It opens up a few strategies. I still need to like actually look at how it's going to affect the meta. I actually don't think it's going to change too much, because we don't really get it before Scuttle. And after that, the skirmishes aren't really forced in any kind of way. The next really forced objective is Dragon, which people don't even usually take at minute 5 because of how tanky it is. So I actually don't think that it's going to be too big for like strategies and stuff, but it's going to be nice that it's the same power curve as with Assassins. I think that's the main benefit of this change. And the solo queue is just also generally nice. Let's take a look at Maw here. Maw actually, it's reduced in gold cost, bit longer cooldown, and the duration is shorter. I mean, I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's nice. Rabadons, okay, we're finally getting somewhere here. We're finally getting somewhere. More AP on Rabadons. Let's go. I love it. Even if it's just a bit, it's welcome. So I love this change as well. Really, really cool change. Really cool change. Stridebreaker, more AD, fine. Trinity Force, more stats. Ooh, hold up here. So the strike duration goes from 3 to 5 seconds. That's actually a massive quality of life here. Because I know a lot of those bruiser top laners and stuff hated this item because of this. Because of the stacks, you can just wait them out in a way, right? But it doesn't really work. So I think this is a really, really good change. And I'm hoping to see more of this item being built. Now we're gonna get into the real juicy stuff here. Is we're gonna there's gonna be a few early game adjustments, and I've already, of course, did the preview patch. I've checked it, and it's gonna change the dynamics of the game massively. So first of all, fountain mana regen. So you now regen more mana, so your resets are gonna be, especially in mid lane, are gonna be a bit more streamlined. I like this change. I think it's just a nice quality of life, because usually when you're a mid laner, you're clearing the wave with your mana, your last bit of mana, you reset, and you're sitting in base forever, waiting for your mana to regen. And I think that this is an amazing change. Home guard timer now goes from 20 to 40 minutes. Cool. That's cool, I guess. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's going to be making comebacks a bit easier. Because home guards is something usually that can catch people off guard. So I like it. I think it's cool. Blast Cone is going to spawn later. It's whatever, in my opinion. Like, it's pretty whatever. No one's waiting for a Blast Cone to spawn at this time in the game. Minions. Okay, now we're going to be talking here. Minions. Alright, so the minion speed is going to be adjusted. And that means that usually when we take a look, let's catch Summer's Rift here. I don't want blue, I want this. So we got the Rift right here, and we got mid lane right here, and we got side lanes right here. So what would happen, right, is these minions would be meeting up right here. This is blue side minions, this is red side minions, as we can see. Then the bot minions would still be around here. Right, so these guys wouldn't have met, while the mid lane minions would have met. So what this allowed to do is mid lane then had tempo over the game. Mid lane could shove out this wave, and then he could rotate towards the side lanes through the river to actually be on time when bot lane has made a play on this wave. So then there could actually be tower dives on this timer after mid lane shoved out the wave, and bot lane is for example slow pushing with the next wave, and it could be nasty tower dives with this timing. That's what people figured out with the timing of the minions. So what's going to happen when this is not going to be the case anymore? So right now this minion is going to be here, they're going to be battling at the same time as mid lane minions are going to be battling. Interesting stuff, very interesting stuff. First of all, bot laners, side laners have to be more careful with their resets right now, because the minions are going faster than that they are going. So if they fuck up a reset, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So how does this actually affect the roams, and how does this specifically affect mid lane? So these roams are going to be way more tricky in a way, because you cannot really just shove mid, then wait till bot has made an answer on their wave, and then go. It just fitted really well. It just lined up really well. And what's going to happen right now is, because if we are going to be shoving the wave right now, and bot lane is also going to be shoving the wave at that same time, we're not going to be able to dive them, because before the time that we're bot lane, this wave is already gone. So the way that we now have to do this is, if you want to set up a dive, or if you want to set up a play on the side lane, there has to be clean coordination in slow pushes. So mid lane has to get this wave out ASAP, while bot lane has to do as slow as possible, right? And mid lane usually preferably has some mobility as well to still make these dives happen. It's going to be way more tricky and way more coordinated. So definitely in competitive play, competitive is going to be shifted entirely. Like it's going to be absolutely thrown around. Mid laner's role is going to be completely different. Maybe we're going to see Asols, Syndras, like these champions that don't want anything to happen. Maybe people can avoid dives and stuff like that. It's going to be super interesting. Do I like the change? I don't know. I need to experience it myself first, and I'm going open-minded into this change. I'm very curious to what it's going to do. This falls off after 40 minutes, by the way, so the rotations in the mid game are actually going to be very similar. Also this. So minions that are attacking an enemy tower will ignore the call for help when... So take this, right? We're looking in mid lane once again. We're looking in mid lane, tower right here, and we got all of these minions lined up right here. They're attacking this tower because we did a 3-wave stack into the enemies. So what this player now can do right now, right, is when these minions are attacking the tower, is this player can now actively trade back into the one that is actually pushed them in the tower. Because these minions are not going to focus this champion anymore, but rather going to keep focusing the tower. So 3-stacking into bullying is now a bit worse because these minions are going to be locked upon the tower. So these minions are not going to be able to target the champion that is going to be trading back onto these guys. So it's going to be a big change when it comes to stacking waves once again. The rules of mid lane and the rules of side lanes are going to be changing completely. Like slow pushing and stacking waves are going to be less OP than before. Hybrid builds. Okay, whatever. So more resistances for plates. Okay, that's fine. So it seems that Unleash Teleport becomes available 4 minutes sooner. That's fine. I think it's cool. I like that. Actually a bit more proactivity in comparison to the previous changes where it's going to be more about scaling and less about playmaking. So I think this change is really good. The cooldown probably doesn't change too much. So the trinkets are... Oh, holy shit, this patch is... What the hell? Holy shit, this is bigger than preseason, by the way. This is crazy, actually. So, Farsight Orb now also provides more vision over walls. Sure. Cool. That's so cool, actually. Wow. That's so unbelievably cool. I love this change. That's so cool. Okay. So it seems that they're... Okay. Cool. Oracle Lens will now have 2 charges. Wow. Holy. But the recharge time is longer. And the duration is shorter. That's so cool, once again. That's so cool. I don't know, man. This is just so cool. How is this going to change it? I think it's going to be OP on junglers. I think supports are less affected by this than junglers. I think this is really OP for junglers. I like the change, actually. I think the change is really good. I think it's cool. The ARAM adjustments. Nah, we're not going to go through that. I think that's the patch. Yeah, that's the patch, guys. That's crazy. So, what is my conclusion on this patch, right? What are we gonna... What can we expect, especially when it comes to meta? I think we're gonna be seeing we're gonna be getting a bit of an interesting meta here, right? Because of how all the stuff is gonna play out, I think that Ginsu's on-hit late game ADCs are gonna be broken with Enchanter supports. Also, because dive and roam windows are gonna be less prevalent because of the minion changes. So what I expect to see is we're gonna see hyper carry, probably on-hit hyper carry, plus Enchanter. And I think Lulu and Melio are gonna be the best enchanters because of how those champions interact. So we're gonna see Lulu plus Melio mainly. And we're gonna maybe even Sona as well. Sona also sounds really good. Lulu, Melio, Sona. We're gonna be seeing Kog'Maw. In some situations Vayne, but she's probably gonna still be shit. But maybe Static actually makes it a bit better for Vayne. What other AD carries do we have? Let's actually go to Yuda.gg. Kog'Maw is gonna be the prime target. Like, that champ is gonna be so broken. It's gonna be so broken. That's the main on-hit AD carry though. Maybe we're gonna see different builds of other AD carries. Maybe we're gonna see other AD carries built on hit as well. Maybe even Varus. I don't know. Varus, Vayne. We're gonna be seeing some stuff like that. Maybe even Kai'Sa. I have no clue. Kai'Sa sounds solid as well. Sounds solid. Philios. We're gonna see a lot of crazy stuff. I think Jinx also still fits the bill. I think that's the stuff that we're gonna see. We're gonna possibly see either one of two things on mid lane. Most likely, we're gonna either see one, hyper scaling mages, or like mages that are really good in the 1v1. Champions like Syndra. I can see champions like Aurelion Sol work as well because of the worst impact of roaming. So we can now scale up for free. And Aurelion Sol is actually not that bad in lane as you think. So I think he can stand his ground. Syndra, Aurelion Sol, Corki. Corki sounds correct, actually. Wait, no, that's not true because the items... Maybe Corki. I don't know. At least probably some stuff like that. Syndra, Victor, or possibly like these control mages. I think they're going to be bringing a bit of a return here. I also think that we're possibly going to see enchanters, enchanter mids. Because what is a champion like Syndra going to do when she's playing versus Karma? Karma's going to reach her mythic spike. What is it? 1300 gold sooner, which is bonkers, by the way. 1300 gold sooner. Which is going to be the echoes of the Helia thing. She's going to be buffing up Kog'Maw. That's just going to gun down the Syndra. Kog'Maw's building with sand, so Syndra's never killing him. Yeah, seems crazy to me. I think we're gonna be seeing that kind of stuff. Assassins look pretty screwed. Maybe in jungle. Assassins with all this peel stuff being updated, I actually don't think they're playable. Like with all these support item buffs. Like, yes, they got a Yumu's increase, but I don't think it's going to change much. It looks pretty screwed for Assassins. Yep, it is. And also the shove and move champs that really in meta right now, right? Like Talia. I mean, Talia is a bit of different, but like Ari, LeBlanc, Lissandra. I'm going to be honest, those champions are going to be super shit. Most likely. I don't see those champions become any better with this patch. I think they're going to be really, really bad. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of protected Kog'Maw comps. Definitely look out for that champion. Kog'Maw, Lulu, Melio. If there's any champs you want to ban, if you don't know what to ban, look into those champions because I know for a fact they're going to be taking over games. Maybe even Akshan as well if you're playing mid lane right then, because that's going to be stupid champion, stupid strong lane, and now also scales probably really well. So yeah, I really think that's gonna be the case. So I understand that there's gonna be a lot of questions about this. So if you guys have any questions about anything in this patch or anything that you want to have my opinion on what's gonna happen with the meta or anything like that, let me know and I'll get back to you guys. So thank you all for watching and I wish you guys a great day. Bye bye guys.